This book is so fantastic that I'm struggling to make a video about it because I want you to read it so much. If you're into the Renaissance or Giordano Bruno, this is not only a biography of my hero, Bruno, it's also one of the best looks at a time period of the Renaissance that I've ever seen. The history of ideas going through it, the horrors of the sectarianism. Rowland is a historian who knows the entire scope of things and so can put Bruno in his place and make it clear not only how brave he was, but what a forward thinker he was as a natural philosopher. And also, one of the points I was not expecting that she wanted to drive home was that he was also a splendid fucking writer. So it's the 16th century, and this boy from a not rich family joins a Dominican order in Naples. And Naples is the most densely populated city in Europe at the time, and is a huge hotbed of ideas, but also under the control of the Inquisition. He becomes such a master of memory among this order, which is known for their mastery of memory, that he gets sent to see the Pope and to show off how smart we are, because the Dominicans need to seem sharp because of the rising Jesuits and their ongoing feud with the Franciscans and all the power schisms within the Catholic Church. But eventually they start to figure out that he's reading forbidden books and having too big ideas, and he has to flee north through an almost underground railroad for intellectual dissidents. And so eventually he's in Germany among the Lutherans and the Calvinists and the Protestants. He eventually gets as far north to England and gets to meet the Queen. He's constantly impressing people with his thinkings and trying to formulate his Nolan philosophy, a brand new way of thinking about the world. And besides his memory palaces and his fantastic writing, which could read like a modern writer, the author Rowland really wanted to stress how forward-thinking he was with infinity and math, because she would argue that he's one of the first people to really grasp infinity, that not only are there infinite universes around us, not just that the planets go around the sun, but that the universe goes on forever, but also down to the smallest things. Once he incorporated atoms into his theory and got the idea of calculus would be coming, he was not a person making formulas himself, but he understood about that change over time that is calculus, and that the smallest infinity goes down to almost nothing, and the greatest infinity goes up to something giant. As well as, he was one of the first people to say, the world is formed on math. And giants as great as Kepler and Kircher were saying how influential he was to later thinking. But that's what Rowland does best in this book. She places him in the history of ideas and everywhere he drew from and how many influences he had afterwards. And his brave end, standing up to the Inquisition after getting betrayed to them, and arguing from the Church Fathers about why he wasn't a heretic. But eventually, this loudmouth Italian man who would not back down, they finally could not take it anymore and burned him at the stake.